ॐ श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। वासुदेवेन्द्रयोगीन्द्रम् नत्वा ज्ञानप्रदं गुरुं मुमुक्षूणां हितार्थाय तत्त्वबोधो विधीयते। Okay. So let us chant a few lines here. Sajeev, would you like to chant? Go ahead and unmute yourself.
Yeah, sure.
So 2.16, 216. Evam
पिण्डब्रह्माण्डयोः
ऐक्यं सम्भूतं
स्थूलशरीराभिमानी
जीवनामकं
ब्रह्मप्रतिबिम्बं भवति
स एव जीवः प्रकृत्या स्वस्मात् ईश्वरं भिन्नत्वेन जानाति। अविद्योपाधिः सन् आत्मा जीवः इत्युच्यते। मायोपाधिः सन् आत्मा ईश्वरः इत्युच्यते। Yeah. So in 215 he mentioned etebhyah panchabhuta panchikrita pancha mahabhutebhyah sthula shariram bhavati. So having described the 2 or 3 stages of Srishti, then he mentions the world. He uses the word Sthula Shariram to refer to the entire world, cosmos. He completes his description or his model of creation by that. So, Panchikrita Pancha Mahabhutebhyaha, from this grossified elements, the world is formed. He completes that discussion there. Then he makes a conclusion, just in case we missed it. He says, Evam Pinda Brahmandayoho Aikyam Sambhutam. So he says, Pinda, Jiva is there, and Pinda is the Sthula Shariram, Sukshma Shariram, Karana Shariram, and that is Pinda, that he refers to as Pinda. Then Anda he refers to as the entire cosmos. And he says, therefore, there is an identity between this Jiva and Ishvara. A grand statement he makes. And he doesn't have to say anything because everything is Panchamahabhuta. Therefore, the Sthula Shariram, this body also is Panchamahabhuta. The world also is Panchamahabhuta. And therefore, there is an essential identity between the two. This is the statement he makes there. And we have some background we saw about the Satchidananda Atma, etc. So we are able to appreciate that as Panchabhutas they are identical, then as Atma also they are identical. So the world is Brahma, this Jiva is Atma, and Atma and Brahma are identical. This we have been discussing. Then he takes on the topic of Jiva. And we saw that last class, we took up Swami Paramarthanandaji's elaboration of this topic and took up this Brahma Pratibimbam Bhavati. And the way Swamiji explained it, so we saw that this Atma Chaitanyam, quote unquote, reflects in the Karana Shariram, Sukshma Shariram, and the Sthula Shariram of this body. And that this body has the capacity to reflect, quote unquote again, reflect Pratibimbam, that consciousness. And we saw names given by the Shastram, the Karana Shariram called Prajnaha, the Sukshma Sharira Abhimani called Taijasaha, which we saw Sukshma Shariram Kim. At that time he mentioned the word Taijasaha. Then Sthula Shariram, he used the word Vishvaha. So this Prajnaha, Taijasaha, Vishvaha combined called Jivaha. Jivaha, who is the Sthula Sharira Abhimani. So how do you identify this Jivaha? I don't see the Jivaha. Where is Jivaha in my body, if you ask? What to say? Whoever says, this is my body, that person, that entity is called Jivaha. That which makes me say, this is my body, beyond this I don't go. From top to bottom. And that person who says that entity which owns up this body, correct? Somebody asks, who is the owner of this body? So some projects people do, big projects, small projects, big projects, $1 million projects, highway connection, all India quadrilateral project, all these things are going on, big projects. And who is the owner of this project? Somebody has to drive this. Somebody has to take responsibility for everything that happens. Who is that? For this body, Jivaha. Jivaha. And then he also mentioned identical to this discussion. This is all referring to the body, but samashti, the entire universe, if you take, the Shastram looks at it as another type of body only. It's just macrocosm, this is microcosm. And so he used the word, same, Karana Prapancha, the macro complement of this Karana Shariram in this body is the Karana Prapanchaha. The macro equivalent, if I want to use the word, macro equivalent of the Sukshma Shariram in this body is the Sukshma Prapancha. And then likewise the Sthula Prapancha. And give some names, Antaryami and Hiranyagarbha and Virat. So nice names to remember, because as we study the Upanishads and Bhagavad Gita, these words will keep coming. Shankaracharya will refer to Virat, then Hiranyagarbha will come. And this is a good opportunity to appreciate those words. So this Antaryami, Karana Prapancha, and then this Hiranyagarbha, Shukshma Prapancha, and this Virat, Sthula Prapancha combined called Ishvaraha or Paramatma. This kind of analysis you will not find anywhere. No other tradition can provide this kind of analysis. So the ability to look into the reality, that is what we are all doing now. Then what did he say? So then Swamiji mentions that Ishvaraha and Jivaha, because of their nature of being pratibimbaha, reflections, it is still reflected light. It is still something that is reflected. An image is what you're seeing. And so even the reflections are not as good as the original. So the original means here Atma, Sachidananda Atma, and Jivaha being reflected on this limited Upadhi. He's going to talk about that Upadhi later again. Is Nikrishta Guna. It is like looking at yourself in a concave mirror, and there is the whole body appears small. And if you look at yourself on a convex mirror, then the body appears big. Swamiji gives that example. Nikrishta Gunaha, inferior qualities as it were, and Utkrishta Gunaha, superior qualities as it were. So Ishvara, superior qualities, Sarvajnaha, all-knowing, all superior qualities, and I have a little bit of those qualities. So, and then there is this Atma, which has no qualities. Nirgunam. Atma is Nirgunam. And when I begin to superimpose qualities, then I divide this world into Ishvara and Jiva, or Jagat, Ishvara and Jiva. I make the distinction, because why I make the distinction? And that's what he says, Prakritya. Sahaeva Jivaha Prakritya. Okay. So last class we were just completing it and getting into this. Prakritya. Prakritya means I am helpless. Being helpless, I am coming to these conclusions. Because the Jiva is born with ignorance. I start my life with ignorance. And ignorance of everything. Nothing is known to me. And maybe some sounds I start hearing, I suppose sounds, because the child cannot see. And so I guess the sounds, sounds are operating even when in the womb it's operating. So the child is able to recognize the mother's voice. and some sounds here and there it can recognize. I don't know how much research has been done into this, but I can imagine, being in the womb and sitting nicely and happily, it has the ability to sense, and definitely it responds to the voices of the mother and father and so forth. So some familiar voices it hears, doesn't know anything about anything literally, and so starting life with ignorance. So prakritya, what option this child has? Child has no option. So child seems to be fine, but slowly recognizes, oh, I am limited. I can only do so much. I don't get anything I want. Mother says no to everything. Father is a little lenient, or it is the other way around. So the child begins to adapt. Oh, I should not ask mother this one. I should ask father. Oh, this one I should not ask father. I should ask mother. So all these things it learns. So jivaha, deeply entrenched notion is there that I am only so much. Prakritya. So here we can say something about this. Jivaha, really speaking, is neither Sukshma Sharira nor Stula Sharira. Conscious being. I am a conscious being because the mind reflects consciousness, manifests consciousness. I like to use the word manifest. We can slowly give up the word reflection. Because if by reflection we are thinking of a mirror and it reflects and the mirror is different from the sun or the source of light, then that is not the example. So as long as you put the word reflection in quotes, we are okay. And we can use pratibimba. So I am a conscious being because the mind manifests consciousness, reflects consciousness, and therefore I have an I sense. Therefore I have a I sense. Is anybody there here? Somebody knocking the door. Is anybody there? Yes, I am there. So the I sense is very much there. Very much there. So that ownership is there to this body mind chess complex. And we respond to people, we interact with people because we have an I sense. Somebody calls us by a name. So Vikram means Vikram responds. So that I sense is there. Every animal, I think, should have this I sense. Should have something about that. Okay, this is me, like that. It must have. But the human being's I sense is very, very sophisticated to a point where I can even start making conclusions about myself, which an animal cannot make, doesn't have the ability to make. The cow can never say. No cow can say. And compare the cow with the other cow. Oh, look at her horns. They look so symmetrical and long. Beautiful it looks. My horns are a little crooked. I wish I had little better horns. I think I should do a cosmetic surgery. I think I should think about it. So, and then correct it, so I can feel good about myself. This kind of thought a cow cannot have. I sense is there. Enough I sense is there to be able to take care of oneself and to be able to mingle with the members of one's own species and to be able to identify species of the other kind and to identify some threats and all that. That much I sense is there to protect oneself. Beyond that, not there. But our human mind is so sophisticated that this I sense is there and conclusions are made based on that. But leave the conclusions aside for now. The I sense is there, very crystal clear. I am very clear who am I, and everything is very clear. Now, this I sense What is this I sense? This is a phrase I've introduced. But I sense is a thought. It is a thought. Finally, if you analyze, it is a thought. Like every other thought I have. So many thoughts are there when we wake up and we look at objects. Thoughts are constantly changing. I can look around, I can see frames, almirah, wall, fan, so many things I can see, and thoughts are constantly happening in the mind. So many thoughts are happening. Along with these thoughts, there is this I thought. Just because I'm looking at the door doesn't mean this I thought goes away from me. Correct? See, what happens is when I see a door, I'm not looking at the rising sun. Sun thought is not there. When I think of the sun, this tree thought that is there in front of my house is not there. When I look at this wall, then I don't see the people in this class. Therefore, that thought is not there. So thoughts are constantly changing, one displacing the other. What about the I thought? The I thought never gets displaced. I thought never gets displaced. So there is a certain permanence about this I thought. This is why they say in deep sleep there is no thought. Even the I thought is not there. There cannot be any thought. Then the minute the waking up happens, the first thought that comes is the I thought. So suddenly my idea about myself just comes back to me. Correct? So everything just comes in a flash. And what time is it? I have to wake up. I'm late today. Yeah, it's good time. Morning, it's good. And I can hear some birds chirping. Oh, I have so much things to do. Everything comes. But first thought is I thought. We don't vocalize it. Right? We don't vocalize it. Yes, I am alive, or yes, this is me. We don't say those kinds of things. We don't look at our son or daughter and say, can you see me? I'm there. I woke up. Who are you? Introduce ourselves. We don't do all these things. So it's all implied, assumed, taken for granted. So that is the I sense, which is a thought. Finally, it is a thought. And because it is a thought, it is not separate from Atma, consciousness. Correct? The I thought, like every thought, cannot be separate from consciousness. And so the author uses the word pratibimbaha for that also. For that, I thought must be there in order to transact, in order to say anything about oneself. I must have that I thought, which is a pratibimba. Okay. And the one who identifies with that antakaranam, which is where the I thought is there. The one who identifies with the antakaranam, the one who has the capacity to make these associations. And of course, that person is, we have said, Jivaha. And because it is a pratibimba, the Shastram also uses another word for the Jiva called Chidabhasaha. Chidabhasaha. Abhasaha. Chit abhasaha. So you may have encountered this word before. So the reflection of consciousness in the antakaranam is called Chidabhasa. So without that capacity, it is impossible for us to be conscious, and it is impossible for us to transact. So Chidabhasaha Jivaha. So here we can make now a distinction. The Jiva is conscious of the world, conscious of everything in this world, including this Sthula Shariram. I am conscious of this body. It's okay. I take this body as myself. I identify with this body. I am conscious of this body. That is good. That is needed. That is part of the creation, Srishti. But I take this body as myself and nothing more than this body. I identify with this body. So Jiva is conscious of the body, is okay. Jiva identifies with the body is where problems begin. Correct? Being conscious of the body, there is no problem there. Being identified with the body is where problems begin. So this is where the avidya comes into play. Because of avidya, I take this body to be myself. Wherever I go, this body goes with me. So of course, this is me. I am not there in the next room. I am not there on the chair that is there. I am not there in the bed. This is how it works, which is fine as far as you refer to this body. But I have taken myself to be this body. And so that is that jiva who prakritya, helplessly. Prakritya, another word for prakriti is what? Avicharena. Avicharena. Without inquiry, without inquiring into the reality. So prakritya, because the inquiry starts much later. It doesn't start unless somebody taps on your shoulder and says, hey, you know who you are? What happens? Somebody suddenly taps on you and out of the blue they say, who are you? I'm so-and-so. I'm the son of or daughter of, this big musician. Yeah, we know all that. But who are you? Who are you? Do you know who you are? What? Then it rattles us a little bit. And so avicharena. So unless somebody says there is such a question, unless we read a book somewhere says who am I, and like that you say, but sir, who am I means what? Is there such a question? So prakritya avicharena, without inquiry. Without inquiry, what happens? I take myself to be this limited body. Then what? Then of course, then there is a whole list, right? So I take myself to be this body. Then I have to make a conclusion about all the things I see. Then I see a whole world. It is too mind-boggling, too massive. So I must say, okay, that is the Jagat, that is the world. And if we are born in Sanatana Dharma, we will say that is all Ishvara. And so I am limited. Ishvara is everywhere. And so I am, of course, different from Ishvara because that is the conclusion. If I am this body, I am different from this world. I am different from Ishvara. So what do? I have to fend for myself. My position becomes what? I fend and I have to defend also. And I have to offend also, I suppose. Fend, defend and offend. This becomes my life. And Swamiji uses the word ninja. I think ninja, this ninja stance is there. And constantly on the watch and having to defend oneself. Ninja stance. But then I love to survive. I simply cannot give up. And the love for survival is there. And there are also periods of joy, periods of happiness I experience. Therefore, I know what it means to be happy, to be contented. Therefore, I'm always seeking that. And there is also apohanam. Apohanam means what? This forgetfulness. I forget. I have the ability. So Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, apohanam cha, in the 15th chapter, I think. Jnanam apohanam cha. When we chant this mantra, that chapter, before dinner, before lunch, that word comes. So apohanam is the ability to forget. When Krishna says that also I am. Ability to know also I am. Ability to forget I am. Hey, why forgetting? What is the use of forgetting? And I'm forgetting a lot. Krishna says, no, don't speak so lowly about forgetting. Forgetting is also a good thing sometimes. And better certain things that people told us, better forgotten. Just forget it. Some people say, I'm unable to forget these things, this hurt that I got, etc. So, apohanam is there. Therefore, my limitations is kept in the background while I can go about doing my business and I can look forward to better things in life. And so that apohanam is there, and that apohanam will be there until I discover the truth of myself. So how did it go? So I am this body. I made a conclusion. Then I have to make a conclusion about the rest of the world. And so, yeah, the world is big, of course. And I am part of the world, but I am not the world. Ishvara is everywhere. And of course, I am not Ishvara. That conclusion. Then, of course, the life of becoming goes on. And then I come around thankful to these experiences I have, where I know what it means to be happy. And even if the day is horrible, if I can sleep for a few moments, that is enough. That is enough to give me a sense of the contentment I can have. That is why that is why when that sleep is not there, all of us get a little agitated, little irritated, that few hours of sleep. Some people need 6 hours, 7 hours, 8 hours, whatever, some amount of sleep we need. And slightly less than that bothers us. So with that becomes my norm. That becomes my norm. This is how contented I can be. I know how contented I can be. And so that is what drives me. And then the story goes, and then finally this apohanam, and then this avidya nivrittihi. When I start inquiring into it, then the journey, so-called journey, ends. Now, good time to review. So here, of course, he says, what does he say? Sayeva jivaha prakritya swasmad ishwaram bhinnatvena janati. Ishwaram bhinnatvena janati. He considers Ishvara to be bhinna, different. Different from what? Swasmat, from oneself. Look at this bold statement he's making. He wants to drive our thoughts towards Jiveshwara Aikyam. That you have this Beda Buddhi, Jiveshwara Beda Buddhi. Everything is different from me, and I'm this, I'm that, etc. This idea is deeply entrenched. So he says, hey, when everything is Panchabhuta, you have no license to really say that you are different from the rest of the world. You can't prove it. You can't prove it. This is what he's saying. You can't prove it. So here, so I am different from the world if I say this is Dvaita. Dvaita. So Dvaita Buddhya, Dvaita Siddhanta. So Ishvara is there somewhere in Vaikuntha, and I am here in this Jagat, in this prapancha, in this on this earth I am sitting, and Ishvara created this world, and I do namaskar to him, and he is the master, she is the master, I am the servant, I am the bhakta. Great attitude. But then, is this the final analysis? Is this what we get in the final analysis? That is what we are talking about. So this is Dvaita. And in order to talk about Dvaita, we don't need a big discussion, because we already know Dvaita. Correct? Did I tell this story about this barber that Swamiji used to talk about? So probably not. So maybe we'll reserve it for another time. So this Dvaita is there. Dvaita means what? I am different from everything else, and I am different from Ishvara also. That is Dvaita. So this Advaita Pandit was there, and very respected, very reputed, and somebody came, learned Advaita from him. For many years, studied all the Upanishads and all that. And at the end, no, this is not the thing. So the person was a Dvaitin. So Dvaita was there, and yeah, he did argue, came to the Advaita teacher, and wanted to know what Advaita is, etc. And then he learned some Advaita. But being a Dvaitin, he was talking a lot about this dualism, duality, whatever words they use. Dualism, maybe dualistic philosophy. So then he went out, he left after all this, and then it was bothering him still some more. And he said, Guruji, I want to have an argument, one final argument I want to have with you. It's bothering me too much. Dvaita, 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 Dvaita. I want to put an end to this conflict. So said, okay, come on over next, come tomorrow, you can come. So that student came, and Acharya was in the barber shop, getting his beard shaved. And so the barber was doing it, and by the time the student had come, and so Acharya said, just wait for a few minutes, in half an hour it will all be done. I'll take a bath and all that. Something will be done, we can sit. So he was sitting in there in the corner, and the barber finished his job, and the Acharya ji looked at the mirror. After all this, opened the eyes and looked at the mirror. And, he looked at the mirror and he said, wow. After some 6 months, he had a shave. You can imagine how it looks. And he said, wow, this is this kind of a glow. He looked at the barber and said, you are Narayana. You gave me this kind of a glow. You are Ishvara. The barber got shocked. He said, no, I'm not Ishvara, I'm not Narayana. No, you are Ishvara. And then he goes, Acharyaji goes to do namaskar. And the barber runs away. No, I'm not Ishvara. No, you are. No, I'm not Ishvara. I'm not Narayana. And then he runs away. The student is watching all this, who's come to debate. And then, you know what he does? He does a namaskar to Acharyaji and says, I got it. Namaste, Acharyaji. It was my mistake. Please pardon me. What did you get? This barber who doesn't know anything, he doesn't even know to spell Vedas. He has not studied anything. He doesn't know there is a language called Sanskrit. All these mantras and all, he doesn't know all this. And he says, I am not Narayana. After all the years of study, I have been taught I am not Narayana. I am not Ishvara. And this guy got it without studying anything. And so I think there is a problem. And so there has to be something, Advaita. So why do you have to study so much in order to say, I am not Narayana? Like this Swamiji used to say. So this I am not Narayana is a very important thing. Dvaita. Dvaita, there is no need for any big discussion because that is a common conclusion. We all live in a Dvaita Prapancha and we take it for granted. We need a model. We need to just have a different view of life and not just for the sake of having a different view, but analysis of the realities takes us in that direction and we allow ourselves to go in that direction. So Dvaita is there, and then of course Vishishta Dvaita is there. This main common the three biggest siddhantas that we have, darshanas. So Vishishta Dvaita. No, God, I am not different from God, Ishvara, but I am part of Ishvara. I am part of Ishvara. Ishvara is all pervasive, and I am a small part of Ishvara. That is Vishishtadvaita. And I continue to retain my identity. What happens when you go to heaven? Yeah, I will have an identity and I will have a limited identity. I will be part of Ishvara. Like that, there is a little discussion there, Vishishtadvaita. So much for the comparison there. And so here, Swamiji says, or the author says, Sahaeva Jivaha Prakritya Swasma Ishwaram Bhinnatvena Jana. So let us look at this translation. I think we have translated Evam Pinda Brahmandayor Aikyam Sambhutam, correct? Okay. So the next one is Thula Sharirabhimani. The one who is identified. Did we translate that yet? No. Okay. The one who is identified with the gross physical body or gross physical body. I don't know if there is a difference between gross and gross. In the US, I got exposed to this. They say gross to talk about this very, very, gross smell. Gross means very gory, not unmentionable. They say gross. Then I think there is a gross also. Is that correct? Am I correct?
Right.
Is there a gross?
Yeah,
okay. So gross is used for like gross weight and things like that.
Right.
They don't say gross weight. Huh? Okay, very interesting. So I think we should not gross physical body, gross physical body. The one who is identified with the gross physical body, called the Jivaha. is but the reflection of Brahma. Is but the reflection in quotes of Brahma. That very Jivaha by nature, that very Jivaha by nature, that is within brackets, without inquiry, considers oneself to be different from Ishvara. Considers oneself to be different from Ishvara. So the one who is identified with the gross physical body, called the Jivaha, is but the reflection of Brahma. That very Jivaha or Jiva by nature, without inquiry, considers oneself to be different from Ishvara. Okay. Then he says, avidyopadhihi san atma jivaha iti uchyate. So upadhihi, upadhihi, important word in Vedanta, very important word. And so earlier we saw this. Let me explain again, just for the benefit of everybody. So there is a crystal, glass, clear glass crystal cup, or what do you call it, tumbler or cup, on the table, and it looks clear. Now there is a cup on the table, but this is the background. This so-called maroon color, coffee color, dark red color is the background, and the cup is there in front. You are sitting far away. You can't. You might think the color of the cup is. If you see the cup will look like this color only. It takes on this color. Or if there is a nice big hibiscus red color flower next to the cup will appear red in color. Or those days I remember, paperweight. At home we used to have, my father used to use this paperweight. Very interesting concept. So just a big globule of glass, right? Heavy glass, molten, I mean, just spherical glass with a flat surface and with some little thing inside to make it look beautiful and heavy, so you can place it on the table. Think of this as just a plain glass, has nothing in it. It is kept on a table. Same example. And if there is a very colorful object and flowers kept next to it, then this paperweight will take on the color of the flower. Take on means what? I say that the paperweight is red in color or appears red in color, correct? Then what we say, that flower is the upadhi of the paperweight. The flower is the upadhi of the crystal, glass, crystal cup, whatever. Flower is the upadhi. That which donates, gives its attributes to something else, will be called the upadhi of that something else. Okay? So perfume, everybody applies perfume. And so the body doesn't have any odor. But this so-called great smell comes from somebody, something, and that something is the upadhi for this body, correct? So something that really doesn't belong to the substantive, the red color really doesn't belong to this paperweight, correct? Really doesn't belong, but it seems to take on those attributes. And that which has the attributes is the upadhi of that which does not have the attributes. Now we apply the same thing to this body. Atma has no attributes. The body has all kinds of attributes. And the attributes of the body as though appear on Atma. Atma as though has taken on the qualities of the body. Correct? Therefore, this body is called the Upadhi. For Atma, body is referred to as an Upadhi. For Atma. So that is Upadhi. Upadhi means that which gives some shape, some color, some quality, anything, it gives the quality to something else. Okay. Here he says that. He says, Avidya upadhihi san atma jivaha iti uchyate. Makes a very technical statement. Atma becomes jiva. Poor little Atma, which has no qualities, becomes jiva, it seems. How it becomes jiva? It becomes jiva avidya upadhihi san. For Atma to become jiva, for something that has no qualities, to become jivaha, which has all kinds of qualities, correct? There must be an upadhi. What is that upadhi? He says that upadhi is avidya. Avidya. For jiva, remember, avidya. So very, very well thought out, in my opinion. So Atma is all pervasive. Brahma is all pervasive. And it is Nirgunam also. And now when some qualities have to be given to Atma, there has to be an upadhi. And that upadhi is avidya, because it is avidya which makes me superimpose the qualities on the Atma. Otherwise, there is no superimposition. Let the body be, let the qualities be, let the flower be, let the paperweight be, correct? But now I start making conclusions. When I see paperweight and say it is red, then I'm making a mistake. I'm making a mistake, avidya. But when I come closer and see, oh, there is a beautiful flower here. Oh, it's the color, its flower is getting reflected on this paperweight. That means what? Avidya nivritti. I no longer take the paperweight as intrinsically red. There is no red color at all in the paperweight. In fact, when I take the paperweight and look at it like this, then I can see, it's colorless. The avidya is gone. When the avidya is gone, and I can keep the paperweight back on the table, and again I see red color. I see a red paperweight, but I am no longer confused. Correct? I'm no longer confused. If somebody asks me what is the color of the paperweight, I say, what color? It is colorless. It's just clean, pure glass. colorless glass. That's what I will say confidently. Everything remains the same, but avidya nivritti, removal of avidya. So here he says avidya is the upadhi for the atma to be taken as a jiva. That is the statement he is making. And what is avidya? So when we discussed karana shariram, stula shukshma and karana shariram, the word avidya was used for the karana shariram. We said that this shariram, stula shariram needs a cause, and the sukshma shariram needs a cause, and the cause was given the term karana shariram. And so that karana shariram, avidya, which you can include sukshma shariram, you can include stula shariram. All those three together, shariratrayam, in other words, is the upadhi, which makes the atma into a jiva. Correct? Makes the atma into a jiva. That is avidya here. So we will continue this discussion. He's going to talk about an upadhi, maya upadhi for Ishvara. That also we will talk. So we are in the section now called Jivaha. Jiva is being talked about. And then later on, I think Jiveshwar Aikyam is there, or Jivan Mukti, and then Karma will be talked about, after which we will conclude. Okay. Om Swasti Prajabhyah Paripalayantam Nyayena Margena Mahim Mahishaha Go Brahmanebhyah Shubhamastu Nityam Lokas Samastas Sukhino Bhavantu Kale Varshatu Parjanyah Prithvi Sasya Shalini Deshoyam Kshobarahitaha Brahmana Santu Nirbhayaha Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha Sarve Santu Niramayaha Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukkha Bhag Bhavet Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityor Ma Amritangamaya Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. The word Dakshinamurti has two meanings. The common literal meaning is Dakshinaha means south and Murtihi means Murtihi. I don't want to translate it as idol because that has different connotations. So the Murti that faces the south is called Dakshinamurti. Correct? Faces the southern direction. And so we saw that before. South is the direction of death. South means something negative, something that we don't desire. So Ishvara, Dakshinamurti faces south so that we can face him, and we are facing north. North being the direction of life, permanence, immortality, etc. That is one meaning. The other meaning is Dakshinaha. Dakshinaha means skilled, skilled, full of desirable qualities. One who's endowed with everything we desire. Aishwaryam. So bhaga, remember that bhaga. So we can bring the word bhaga here. Shada Ishwaryam, right? What did we say bhaga was? Aishwaryasya samagrasya
धर्मस्य यशस्श्रियः धर्मस्य यशस्श्रियः
धर्मस्य यशस्श्रियः va. Okay, वीर्यस्य यशस्श्रियः. Viryam is there. Okay, then jnana vairagyayoschaiva bhaga itirana. Okay, good. So these 6 qualities are there: Aishwaryam, Viryam, Yashaha, fame, Shriyaha, wealth, resources, Vairagyam, dispassion, and Jnanam, knowledge. So, Dakshinaha, skill. The one who has these qualities, and Amurtihi. Amurtihi. Here you have to say Amurti. Therefore, you have Dakshina and Amurti becomes Dakshinamurti. So, Amurtihi. Essential nature of Ishvara, of Brahma, is Amurtihi. Formless. Formless, correct? No form. Therefore, Dakshinaschasav Amurtischa Dakshinamurtihi. The one who is endowed with 6 qualities and the one who is formless is called Dakshinamurti. So I just wanted to mention that. Which I thought I forgot when we discussed the shlokas. Okay. Any questions you can ask?